I am Ashwini Kumar, Assistant Professor, Department of Electronics and Communication Engineering, Babu Banarsi Das University, Lucknow. In previous lecture, we have studied about the working of rectifiers, in which we have covered half wave rectifier and center tap full wave rectifier and bridge full wave rectifier. In today's lecture, we are going to work on some performance parameters of rectifiers. With the help of that, we can compare different rectifiers. So let us begin with the performance of half wave rectifier. Performance of half wave rectifier. Here first we will find output DC voltage of half wave rectifier. Above shows the output waveform of the half wave rectifier. Equation of current can be written as IL is equal to Im sin omega t. If we look at the profile of the output, we see that from 0 to pi there is a value of current Im sin omega t, but for pi to 2 pi value of current is 0. Now in order to find the DC voltage of half wave rectifier, we have to find average value of the output current, and we know that to find the average we have to add and then divide by different parameters, and to get the average value we have to integrate this waveform from 0 to 2 pi, and then after integrating we have to divide this value of integration with 2 pi. So here we see I average is given as 1 by 2 pi integration 0 to 2 pi ILD omega t. IL is the load current. Then I average equals to 1 by 2 pi 0 to 2 pi. Now putting the value of IL as Im sin omega t d omega t. Here we are dividing the integration into two parts. First limit will be from 0 to pi and other will be pi to 2 pi. We know that between pi to 2 pi value is 0. So integration is limited to only integration between 0 and pi. So we will proceed with this integration. And we know that integration of sin omega t is equal to minus cos omega t. So we get I average or IDC is equal to Im by 2 pi and minus cos omega t 0 to pi. And after solving this integration, we have arrived at the result that I average is equal to IDC is equals to Im upon pi. Now we can find output DC voltage across the load RL. It is given as VDC is equals to IDC into RL. Because we have to find DC voltage, so we have to take DC current, and we have to find DC voltage because DC is developed across the load only. Because we are looking for the DC voltage at the load, so VDC will be equal to IDC into RL. But we know that IDC is equal to Im by pi. So putting the value of VDC is equals to Im by pi into the equation, we get Im by pi into RL, and after solving we will get VDC equal to Vm by pi. Now we have to find output DC voltage for full wave rectifier. So here is the profile of the output of the full wave rectifier, and this is the input current. Above shows the output waveform of full wave rectifier. Equation of current can be written as IL between 0 to pi. In this level the current will is Im sin omega t 0 to 2 pi, because this volt and this polarity is same. Polarity for 0 to pi is same as the input polarity 0 to pi, but for the rest of for the second pi to 2 pi, because we are writing equation in terms of load current, it means this current has to be multiplied by minus for pi to 2 pi. So for pi to 2 pi the IL will be written as minus of Im sin omega t, and after that we will proceed in the same manner as we have done for the half wave rectifier. So I average is equal to 1 by 2 pi 0 to 2 pi IL d omega t putting the value of IL, so 0 to pi, IL will be written as Im sin omega t, and for pi to 2 pi it will be written as minus Im sin omega t d omega. So I average equals to 1 by 2 pi 0 pi Im sin omega t d omega t, and minus 1 by 2 pi integration pi to 2 pi Im sin omega t d omega t. And we have already done the integration of sin omega t, it is minus cos omega t. So after solving this integration step by step, we have come to the result that I average is equals to IDC is equal to twice of Im by pi. Obviously this is the double of that of half wave rectifier. Now we have to find output DC voltage of full wave rectifier. So VDC will be equals to IDC into RL. DC voltage is developed across the load RL. So VDC will be equals to IDC into RL, and putting the value of IDC or IDC equals to 2 Im by pi, we have arrived result VDC equal to 2 Vm upon pi. Now we will study about the performance parameter. Those are, first one is the ripple factor and other one the rectification efficiency. So with the help of these two parameters, we can determine how effectively a rectifier converts AC power into DC power. Ripple factor is a measure of purity of the DC output of a rectifier and is defined as R is equal to RMS value of the AC components of output waveform divided by average or DC value of the output waveform. So R is defined as I dash RMS upon IDC. I dash is used because we are using only AC component. This point will be made more clear in coming slides. Now come to the performance parameter rectification efficiency. Rectification efficiency tells us what percentage of total input AC power is converted into useful DC output power. So this efficiency is defined as DC power delivered to the load and total AC input power given to transformer secondary. That is eta equals to P is PDC, that is eta is equal to PDC upon PAC. In order to find those parameters, we have to find the RMS value of the current for the rectifiers. So let us start with the RMS value of the current of half wave rectifier. Above shows the output waveform of half wave rectifier. Equation of current can be written as we did in the half wave rectifier. So this is the same equation, but RMS value means square, mean, root. Root mean square, right? Here IRMS is equal to under root, then summation, that is integration, then mean, then we'll take root out of it. So this is the expression to find the value of IRMS. So putting the value of IL in the equation, we get IRMS is equals to under root 1 by 2 pi 0 to pi Im square sin square omega t d omega t, and this value will be 0. So we get IRMS is equal to 1 by 2 pi 0 to pi Im square sin square omega t d omega t. We know that sin square omega t is equals to 1 minus cos 2 omega t by 2, and after simplifying the above expression, we get IRMS is equal to Im by 2. IRMS is equal to Im by 2 is the RMS value of the current for half wave rectifier. Now we will find RMS value of the current for full wave rectifier. Above shows the output waveform of full wave rectifier. Equation of current can be written as IL is equals to Im sin omega t. Here we are going to take only one interval 0 to pi. So to find RMS value of the full wave rectifier, IRMS will be equals to under root 1 by pi, taking the first interval 0 to pi, 1 by pi 0 to pi IL square d omega t. Putting the value of Im sin omega t, we get Im sin square omega t as 1 minus cos 2 omega t, and after simplifying we get value of IRMS is equals to Im by root 2. RMS value of the AC component. Well, this derivation is very important. Let us understand what is the meaning of RMS value of the AC component. We have just found the RMS value of the current This is the RMS value of the total current. Here we see total current, DC value plus AC components. Earlier we have found the IRMS, but we have taken the total current IL, and that current IL contains DC plus AC components. But now we have to find only AC components, RMS value of only AC components. Now we have to find the RMS value of AC components. So instantaneous value of AC component can be found. IL, subtract IDC from IL, then we will be left with the instantaneous AC values. Therefore, instead of taking IL for further calculation, we will be taking IL minus IDC, that is I dash L. Therefore, RMS value of AC component is given by I dash RMS is equals to 1 by 2 pi 0 to 2 pi I dash square L d omega t. Putting the value of I dash L, we get IL minus IDC whole square. Expanding this expression, we have arrived at this result. Here integration is separated for each term. Now concentrate on this term. This term is nothing but, we have already proved that this is IRMS square. This is written as it is, and 2 has been taken common, and we have got this value. But I square DC is constant, we have taken it out. Now we'll find integration of this term and integration of this term. Concentrate on this term. This is nothing but IDC that we have already calculated. So we get I dash RMS is equals to I square RMS, I square DC, this integration omega t, and twice of IDC into IDC. This term will result into omega t, and now we get I dash RMS is equal to I square RMS plus I square DC minus 2 I square DC. After sum, and finally we have arrived at the result I dash RMS is equal to under root I square RMS minus I square DC. Now we can calculate ripple factor. R is equals to, we know that R is equal to RMS value of the AC components of the output waveform and average or DC value of the output waveform, that is R equals to I dash RMS into IDC. We have already calculated I dash RMS as I square RMS minus I square DC under root upon IDC, and after simple calculation we have arrived, this is very important expression of ripple factor. This is under root IRMS upon IDC whole square minus 1. Now we have to calculate ripple factor for half wave rectifier, because we have arrived at the result of ripple factor, which is nothing but IRMS upon IDC whole square minus 1. For half wave rectifier, IRMS is equal to Im by 2 and IDC equals to Im by pi. So putting these value into the expression and after solving, we get R is equals to 1.21. This R equals to 1.21 is the value of ripple factor for half wave rectifier. Now we will calculate ripple factor for full wave rectifier. Formula is same, and now in case of full wave rectifier, IRMS equals to Im by root 2 and IDC equals to 2m by pi. We have already calculated these values. So putting this value into the equation, into the formula of ripple factor, we get R equals to 0.482, and this ripple factor is for full wave rectifier. Now come to the rectification efficiency. Rectification efficiency tells us what percentage of total input AC power is converted into DC output power, that is eta equals to PDC upon PAC. Now we will find rectification efficiency of half wave rectifier. We know that eta equals to PDC upon PAC, and PDC is the power delivered to the load. PDC is the DC power delivered to the load, means I square DC into RL. This expression is going to give us the DC power delivered to the load. Now total AC input power to the secondary, again we will take AC current, that is IRMS. So instead of taking IDC, because we have to find AC power, so current will be taken as I square RMS. And after secondary, in the rectifier circuit there are three components: diode, resistor RL and secondary winding. The whole of the AC power will be dissipated in these three components. That is why PAC is calculated as I square RMS into RD plus RS plus RL. But value of RD and RS is most of the time negligible. So neglecting these RD and RS, we arrived PAC is equals to I square RMS into RL. Now we will calculate rectification efficiency of half wave rectifier. We have already calculated PDC and PAC. Eta equals to PDC upon PAC. So putting the value of PDC and PAC, RL is cancelled out and we get eta is equals to I square DC upon I square RMS. That is IDC upon RMS whole square. This is the final expression. Now for half wave rectifier, IDC equals to Im by pi and RMS equals to Im by 2. Putting this value into this expression, we have found eta equals to 0.406 and in percentage eta equals to 40.6%. Here we see that rectification efficiency is 40.6%, means almost 60% is going wasted. That is why half wave rectifier is a poor converter. Now we will calculate the rectification efficiency of full wave rectifier. We have arrived at the formula. We know the formula PDC. We know the formula eta equals to PDC upon PAC. PDC equals to I square DC into RL. But for PAC, same formula will be there, I square RMS and RD plus RS plus RL, and in bridge rectifier or in central temperature, whatever the components are coming in the way of the current, we will take resistances of those components. But most of the times RD and RS are negligible. So we get I dash. So we get PAC equals to I square RMS into RL. Now rectification efficiency for full wave rectifier. We have around PDC, we have already calculated PDC, PAC, formula PDC, putting these values RL, and again same formula IDC upon RMS whole square eta value. Now putting the value of IDC as 2 Im by pi for full wave rectifier and IRMS Im by root 2, taking whole square after solving, we get 0.812 value of eta, and in percentage we get value of eta as 81.2. This is just double that of the efficiency of half wave rectifier. Now we have derived some performance parameters, we have formulas. So now we will be solving some questions of rectifiers. In this question, a diode with internal resistance RD is equal to 20 ohm is used in half wave rectifier. Voltage applied at secondary winding is 50 sin omega t and load resistance is 800 ohm. We have to find peak current, Im, DC current, IDC, RMS current, IRMS, ripple factor, R, DC power delivered to load PDC, AC power delivered, AC power dissipated in the circuit, that is PAC, rectification efficiency eta, and PIV of the diodes used in the circuit. Important point is here that we have output voltage across the secondary is already given 50 sin omega t. Since voltage across secondary is already given, so we have found Vm equals to 50 volt. This is the maximum voltage, and we have found the Vm 50 volts. Now we have to find the current flowing in the circuit, that is the maximum current flowing in the circuit, that is Im. So Im will be equals to, because input voltage is Vm, so Im will be equals to Vm and the resistances that are coming in the way of the current. So Vm divided by Rd plus RL. With the help of this formula, we can find the current Im flowing in the circuit. Putting the value of Vm as 50 volt, Rd 20 ohm, RL 800 ohm, and after solving, we get Im is equals to 60.9 milliampere. So we have arrived at the first result, that is peak current. We have found Im. Then IDC will be equals to Im by pi. So this is 19.41 milliampere. RMS current we can find the same way, Im by 2, so it will be 30.49 milliampere. Ripple factor is given under root IRMS upon IDC whole square minus 1. We have already calculated IRMS, already calculated IDC. Putting the value of IRMS into IDC into this equation, we have arrived ripple factor as 1.21. And it was expected because ripple factor for half wave rectifier is in the order of 1.21, and we have arrived at R equals to 1.21. Now we have to find rectification efficiency, or we have to find PDC, power delivered, DC power delivered to the load. Formula is I square DC into RL. IDC we have already found, RL is given, so putting the values we get PDC as PDC given as 0.30139 watt. PAC in the same way, I square RMS into RL plus RD. RL plus RD. RD is given, RL is given, IRMS we have already calculated. So putting these values in the equation, we have found PAC as 0.76230 watt. So now rectification efficiency can be found because eta equals to PDC upon PAC. We have already calculated PDC and PAC. So putting these values, we get efficiency as 39.53%. And PIV is nothing but VM that we have already studied in the previous lecture when we were studying the rectifier. So PIV equals to VM in case of half wave rectifier, and VM is already given as 50 volt. So PIV of the diodes in this case will be 50 volt. Now come to the full wave rectifier, that is bridge rectifier. Question says that a bridge rectifier is applied with input from a step down transformer having turns ratio of 8:1 and input 230 volt RMS. RD is given, RS is given, and RL is given, and we have to find same values as we had solved in the previous question. One important thing is that when input is given at 230 volt 50 Hz, this voltage is always a RMS voltage, and we have to find VM across the secondary. This will be our first step. We have to find VM across the secondary, right? Input is applied at the primary of the transformer. To start the question, we should find maximum voltage VM across the secondary because input is given at the primary. So first we find the maximum voltage at primary. Before we calculate maximum voltage at primary, that is VP, let us concentrate on this. This is the formula for RMS current for full wave rectifier Im by root 2. Here IRMS root 2. If we calculate Im, then this will be IRMS into root 2. It means whenever VRMS is given in case of full wave rectifier, then just multiply it by root 2 and we will be getting the maximum value because VRMS is given. So multiplying by it root 2, we can find value of VP, which is, so we have found the maximum voltage across the primary. Now we have to find maximum voltage VM across the secondary because here turns ratios are given. So with the help of this formula, that VM, but the voltage at secondary, will be equals to VP into N2 by N1. This is well known formula. VM is nothing but voltage at the secondary because VP is maximum, so the voltage at secondary will also be maximum. So with the help of this formula, we have found VM. So VM equals to VP into N2 by N1, putting the value of N2 by N1 as 1 by 8. It means because this is the step down transformer, so input whatever voltage will be at the primary, it will be 1 by 8 times at the secondary. Simple, divided by the 8, we have got VM as 40.65 volt. It means we have to calculate VM at the secondary. Now we have found it as 40.65 volt because now we have found VM across the secondary. So now we can find the maximum current Im in the circuit. So Im will be equals to Vm upon the current. In either cycle, current will be flowing through two diodes, one resistance and secondary winding. So in either case, be it positive half cycle or negative half cycle, two diode and one load resistance and secondary winding will come into the way of the current Im. That is why Im is calculated as Vm upon Rd plus RL plus Rd plus Rs. Putting all these values are given, we get Im is equal to 20.2 milliampere. As we have found Im, we can find IDC, because formula of IDC equals to 2 Im by pi. So putting the value of Im, calculating IDC is, we get IDC equals to 12.85 milliampere, and same goes to IRMS. Which is equal to Im by root 2. Putting the value of Im, we get IRMS equals to 14.28 milliampere. Then we can find ripple factor. We know the formula of ripple factor, IRMS upon IDC whole square minus 1 under root. Putting the value of IRMS and IDC we have already calculated, and we can find the value of ripple factor. And for full wave rectifier, R equals to 0.84, and for full wave rectifier, R is equals to 0.484. Now we have to find DC power delivered to the load, that will be equal to I square DC into RL. We have already calculated the IDC. Putting the value of IDC and RL, we get PDC as 0.3302 watt, and IRMS, I square RMS into ID RL RD plus RS. Putting the value of this, we have got PAC as 0.41028 watt. Now rectification efficiency will be PDC upon PAC. We have already calculated. So putting this value into the equation, PDC upon PAC, we get eta equals to 80.48%, and it was expected because it is a full wave rectifier. Now come to the last question, that is the center tap rectifier. Question says that a center tap rectifier is supplied from 220 volt, 50 Hz, and uses transformer having turns ratio of 5:1. Load resistance is given and diode forward resistance is always given, and same parameters we have to find. Input is applied at the primary of the transformer. To start the question, we should find the maximum voltage Vm across the secondary, as we have calculated in other rectifiers. This is the first step. We have to find Vm across the secondary. But because input is given at the primary, so we have to calculate maximum primary voltage, Vp. And we have already discussed about this, that if Vrms is given, multiply by root 2 and arrive at the maximum voltage at primary, that is 311.12 volt. Now using the formula, we can find the maximum value Vm at the entire secondary. Important point may be noted that because Vp is given, we are transferring this to the secondary and finding the secondary voltage using this formula. We have got V, this V 62.22, this is over the whole secondary winding. But because transformer is center tap, so it is divided between two equal parts. It means Vm will be half of this. So Vm is equal to half of the whole voltage that was developed across the secondary. So this will be Vm, so it will divide by 2, and now we have arrived Vm equals to 31.11 volt, and PIV is equal to 2 Vm. So because we have calculated Vm, so PIV is equal to 2 Vm, that is 2 into 31.11 volt is equal to 62.22 volt. Now because we have found Vm, so calculation of Im will be the next step. Vm, Im in the circuit will be either first half cycle or in the negative half cycle. So Vim will be equals to Vm input voltage and the components Rd, RL and lower half or upper half of the winding. So Vm will be equals to Im will be equals to Vm upon Rd plus RL plus Rs. Putting these values, Rs is not given, so it is taken as 0. So putting all those values, we have found value of Im. And if we have found Im, just using the formula for IDC 2Im by pi, we can find IDC, and using the formula for IRMS, we can get IRMS. Then using the formula of the ripple factor, IRMS upon IDC whole square minus 1, IRMS and IDC we had already calculated. Putting these value into the formula, we have got the ripple factor for this rectifier. Now DC power delivered to the load resistance will be equal to I square DC into RL. IDC we have known, RL we know. Putting these values, we get PDC equals to 0.7250 watt. Likewise PAC, I square RMS into RD plus RL plus RS. Putting the values of RD, RL and RS, we have found PAC as 0.929 watt. And lastly, we have to find rectifier efficiency eta, that is equals to PDC upon PAC. Putting this value of PAC and PDC, and after solving, we get rectification efficiency as 78.04%. Now we will study about the light emitting diode, that is LED. Light emitting diode is a special type of p-n junction diode that emits visible or invisible light when connected in forward bias. The symbol of an LED is different from that of a conventional diode, and as shown in the figure. One important point that may be noted here is that light emitting diode works in forward bias. Now come to the construction of LED. An LED is made up of 3 semiconductor layers. Here we see top layer is of p type, bottom is n type, and in between there will be an active region. So an LED is made up of 3 semiconductor layers which are deposited on the substrate as shown in the below figure. From the figure, it is clear that in between p type and n type region there exists an active region. When LED is forward biased, holes from p type and electrons from n type are driven into active region, where they recombine with each other and the light is emitted. A cup type of structure of LED is shown below, in which we see that light is emitted in all directions. Now come to working principle of light emitting diode. Whenever a p-n junction is forward biased, the electron cross the p-n junction from n-type semiconductor material and recombine with the holes. The free electrons are in conduction band, whereas the holes are present in the valence band. So when we say a free electron recombines with a hole, it means it falls from conduction band to valence band. Thus the energy level associated with it changes from higher value to lower value. The energy corresponding to the difference between higher level, that is conduction band, and lower level, that is valence band, is released by electrons while traveling from conduction band to the valence band. In normal silicon and germanium diodes, the energy is released in the form of heat within the structure, and emitted light is insignificant. So LED is made up of some special materials which release this energy in the form of photons or light energy. Hence the diode is called as light emitting diode, and this process is known as electroluminescence. Here are some materials that are used in construction of light emitting diode for different colors. For example, gallium arsenide is used to emit infrared light or invisible light. Gallium phosphide, that is GaP, is used to produce red or green light. Gallium arsenide phosphide, GaAsP, is used to produce red or yellow light. Likewise, gallium nitride, that is GaN, is used to emit blue or white light. Now, what are the advantages of LED? It is small in size, that is, it occupies very less space, and it is light in weight. It is available in different colors. It has got long life. It is readily available and it is cheap. LED is fast operating device. It means its switching time is very less. Come to application of LED. LED is used in most optical devices. LED is used in all kinds of visual displays like 7-segment display and alphanumeric display. For example, in watches and calculators. It is used as on-off indicator for various types of electronic circuits. Some LED emits infrared light that we have already seen. Then these kind of LED are useful in burglar alarms. Now come to liquid crystal display, that is LCD. Liquid crystal is a material which flows like a liquid at room temperature, but whose molecular structure has some properties normally related to the solids. Liquid crystals have crystalline arrangement of molecules, yet they flow like a liquid. One important point that may be noted here, that LCD do not emit light, but they change externally generated illumination. Come to working principle of LCD. In LCD, for light scattering units, nematic liquid crystal is used, in which the individual molecules have rod-like appearance, uniformly arranged to form the crystal structure as shown in the figure. A dynamic scattering LCD consists of two glass plates with transparent electrodes. Here we see there are two electrodes deposited on their inside faces, and a liquid crystal fluid, that is nematic fluid, filled in between them as shown in the figure. This is the liquid crystal fluid. In normal condition, thin layer of liquid crystal is transparent to the incident light. Hence, the area looks clear. Now come to the case when we are going to apply some voltage across it. That is, where some electric field is applied across it, its molecular arrangement is disturbed, which causes changes in activated layer of liquid crystal as shown in the figure. Light is scattered by the disoriented molecules, and this results in a frosted glass like appearance, which results in a silver display, that is dark display. Advantages of LCD: less power consumption. LCD has a distinct advantage of having the lower power consumption, which is of the order of microwatts as compared to milliwatts in case of LED. Other one is the low cost, low operating voltage and current, uniform brightness with good contrast. Now come to application of LCD. LCD are used in desktop LCD monitor, notebook computer display, cell phone display, display in digital thermometer, blood pressure measuring instruments, blood sugar measuring instruments. Now come to the solar cell. Before we study the solar cell, we must study two important facts, that is photovoltaic conversion and photovoltaic effect. Conversion of light or other electromagnetic radiation into electricity is called photovoltaic conversion. The generation of electromotive force as a result of absorption of ionizing radiation is called as photovoltaic effect. Now come to working of solar cell. Solar cell is an electric cell that converts sun's electromagnetic energy into usable electrical energy. It is a semiconductor device and sensitive to photovoltaic effect. Solar cells normally consists of single crystal silicon PN junction as is shown in the figure. When photons of light energy from the sun fall on semiconductor junction, the electron hole pairs are generated. Hole pass to the p region and electron pass to n region. The displacement of free charge creates an electric current when the load is connected across the terminal. Application of solar cells. Solar cells are mostly used in satellites solar panel, and nowadays solar cells are used to produce electricity on the roofs of the houses.